right, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny.
I'm Dylan. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the possible situations with stocks regarding a possible government shutdown and what would happen if we were to default on all of the money, our loans and everything, which could be a huge situation and problem. So we're going to take a look at what happened.
All right. If you guys like this entertaining stock market content with two stupid guys just trading stocks, by all means, give us a like and subscribe below. We'd love to have you guys along on this mission. With that, we'll get to it.
Two stupid guys trade stocks.
All right.
Boom. Okay, so these are some prominent figures here, and behind that is a U.S. debt clock, which I'm going to have Vinny pull up in a second. But before we get started, I just want to go over some timeline of past and upcoming events, just so we're all on the same page. What's the date, Vinny?
September 25th.
Okay, I asked you because I legitimately didn't know. All right, so on the 23rd, the White House told government agencies to prepare for a possible government shutdown. You usually always have to give 7 days notice whenever this happens. Okay? All right. The 30th of September, coming up in 5 days, the fiscal end of year for government. Okay? Mid-October is the possible first U.S. default on loans, meaning we're screwed if we do not raise the debt ceiling. Okay?
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Yeah,
right?
That sounds like not great. So like we've almost maxed out our credit card. Is that what you're trying to say?
We're past that. we maxed out our credit card like 3 years ago. And then 2 months later, if this happens, we're now just trying to get gasoline and oil, and we're into a whole new planet, an apocalypse.
But we get to wear all that leather.
We do get, leather will be nice. Do you know what movie that is?
Yeah, I know it's like Mad Max. I've never actually seen it. I just know that's Mad Maxian.
I don't know the age of the people that watch this, so here's the other one. Either way, it's not ideal, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Good for car modifiers, I guess.
Yeah, that movie's awesome, actually. So the yellow line here is federal debt. The black line is the debt ceiling. So you'll notice that usually every time it gets close to the debt ceiling, like, nah, we got to raise it. Then we start increasing here under Obama's presidency. Trump, we just made a giant leap. COVID happened. Obviously, that was unforeseen. I'm going to try to steer away from Republican or Democrats being at fault in any way whatsoever. This is not a political show. This is to how to prepare your portfolio here. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys can set off in the comments. I don't care. I'm not going to go into it. Biden isn't spending a bunch of money also. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because people make it a political party, but both parties spend money like crazy.
They will spend a crap. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. So this is not ideal, is what we're trying to say. This increase from the year 2000 is just absolutely absurd. Can you go to the debt clock real quick?
Yeah. It's pretty astonishing website. If you guys have never been on this, these are some big numbers. This is $28.8 trillion in U.S. national debt as of right now. And they'll even break it down on like a per citizen basis, which is kind of crazy. Whereas I know this is the state per person, per debt per citizen right here from state things. It's crazy, absolutely, how much money that they're in debt, local debt, another $6,000.
Yeah. It's definitely not good. Definitely not ideal. All right. So this is a little bit surprising here, Vinny. The last time we had a government shutdown was under Trump's presidency. We went into shutdown on a certain date and got out on a certain date after. Where do you think that happened?
I'm gonna guess this somewhere along this red downtrend was when we officially entered it, because there gonna be some selling off of anticipation of it, but like as it actually occurs, people are gonna see it's worse than they thought.
Okay, so I agreed with you, and I was quite shocked to see this. Here's the start of it. this was not at all what I was thinking. I went into this being like, oh man, it definitely happened like right here.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It actually happened on December 22nd, which is a weekend, so no stock market open. Guess when it was over?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. You had a nice gap up, almost like a hammer day right here. I guess like yeah, that day. That's yeah, maybe right around there. Nice hammer.
Pretty close. It's not bad. It's pretty close.
Okay.
So it ended here. The day it started, it's almost like all the anticipation was like almost like a perfect reaction. I would never have thought that so it was the 22nd, so the day is actually right here. The next day I wouldn't have thought that it'd be like, all right, we've now not had government for a full day. Let's go bananas. Like, let's just throw as much money as you can at this.
It was a little what do you call that? By the rumor, sell the news kind of scenario, basically. So once it actually happened, they were done with it.
And also, this just goes to show you, this is a 100 moving average on why I love chart analysis so much. It literally gap through it, bounce. Now we're screwed. If you'll notice here, this was actually a pretty decent drop. This was 278 to a bottom of 230. So that's 40 points off of 270. That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the issue. All right. The Senate is split into 50 Republicans versus 40 Democrats and 2 independents, but those 2 independents vote Democrat, and they appear to be in gridlock and no one is budging because it's always a good time to play chicken with everyone's lives and financial well-being. Yeah. So Democrats possibly could try and attach the raising the debt ceiling legislature to a major infrastructure bill that passed the Senate and both parties had both parties support and is getting a vote in the House on the 27th. The 27th is going to be a big deal. They may do this. They may not do this. We are not sure. Okay. Senator Ted Cruz stated he would filibuster any attempt on a vote to extend the debt limit. So the Republicans are hard fast. They're like, this is not a good idea. We shouldn't do this. I think last time he talked for like 20 hours and read green eggs and ham or something.
Wow.
That was, yeah. That was, I can't remember. That was under Obama, I think.
Now I want ham.
I'm not really. I think ham's overrated. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that comment. Interest rates. So if the debt limit isn't raised, okay. Now these are minor here. These are minor things, right? Because if the debt limit isn't raised and we go to default, oh my God, problems. I don't think it's going to happen. They can't let it happen. Anyways, interest rates would increase, causing stocks to drop. Consumers would get screwed and have the brunt of this whole effect. And when it comes to borrowing, the result from a default, when they want to, basically, if you were trying to buy a home, a car, a loan, everything would cost more. Money would cost more, right?
I mean, think about it. It's $28.8 trillion, right? Like, I don't know if you ever looked at your terms and conditions for your a credit card, right? You say your normal APR is 14.99%. If you miss a payment, the default rate is 29.99%. All of a sudden, like your interest rate doubles effectively on your credit card if you miss a payment. Can you imagine what would happen to $28.8 trillion in debt if you miss a payment?
You just go to Vegas and just put it all in one roulette spin.
They're gonna YOLO on like AMC weekly options.
Yes, that's great. So interestingly enough, I'm actually trying to buy a home right now. So for the people that are still watching, I would really like to know what your input is, because my logic here was the Fed is doing 40 billion in mortgage-backed bonds, 80 billion a month in other bonds, so 120 billion. The taper that they said in the FOMC meeting on the 22nd, they said that they are going to start soon. They didn't give a date. Smart, because soon could be in 10 years. Probably not, though. And also, they can't keep doing this because we don't have any money left. So it would be, my logic for this was that I want to buy a home and I want to do it before interest rates increase, because believe it or not, I'm in Arizona, so it's a little bit of a different situation because we actually have a supply and demand issue. But how crazy is this, Vinny? If I buy a house and it loses $100,000 in value in a day, but the interest rate goes up 1.5%, I still save money.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? My mortgage payment's still cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, people don't realize like how important the interest rate really is. I will tell you that. That's for sure. Every time I see my wife take out a store credit card with a 29.99% interest rate on it, I want to take that out of her hand and throw it across the room.
Yeah, I don't even do those.
Well,
it was pretty interesting because I was thinking like, all right, if I buy so and so house loses $100,000, I'm going to be screwed. But then you look at the interest rate that would be associated if that were to happen, and it's actually like a large savings.
Wow, that's insane. The Powell talked about how he wants there to be like a gap between the tapering of bond purchases and the raising of interest rates. So there should be like a little bit of a lull there.
Yeah,
from what he wants.
And it just doesn't put into account this situation that's also happening. There's multiple variables here. Go back to the thing. So number 2 it would make it more expensive for the Treasury to borrow money. We already kind of know that. It would result in a credit rating downgrade. Vinny has a whole video that he's going to do that we're going to upload on kind of the history of what all this stuff means and looking at history to kind of predict the future, that kind of stuff. And then number 4, the biggest thing for me is all the money we spent, because look, we kind of had to spend a bunch of money during COVID. There was an unforeseen circumstance. It would essentially be for absolutely no reason, which is why I don't think this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we just like spent like $8 trillion. It's just like, screw it, not budget on this.
Yeah.
Stupidest thing in the world.
I think Ted Cruz specifically said he would not vote to raise the debt ceiling, but he would not. The debt ceiling has been getting suspended multiple times for the last couple decades. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in my video. Rather than raised, they just suspend it. Say, doesn't matter. There isn't one right now.
Yeah.
But.
Which, fair. Yeah. Better than nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Exactly. Sorry. I have this. If it does happen, this is always sunny where they just eat cat food. This is going to be our life. If the U.S. goes into default. So, I wanted to get Jim Cramer eating cat food after the 2008 crisis, but it was really hard to find. I figured Danny DeVito was the next best option.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Pretty much. They have the same hairstyle.
They do have the same hairstyle.
All right, guys. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this and whether or not you think it's actually going to happen or they're going to get an 11th hour deal.
And if I should buy a house.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys.